Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. You know, just when you think a game may or may not be for you, something happens and it changes your opinion on it. It changes your view on it. I have always held certain types of games a little bit higher than others in terms of mechanisms and themes. And when I looked at this, I said, you know what? I like dice. You guys know I enjoy playing with dice. And I reached out to OP Games, and they said, yeah, sure, we'll send you some stuff. And so they sent me, and I'll be frank with you, I am not familiar with this base game. I'm not familiar with the original video game at all. Nope. But I saw you're doing dice, and you're rolling a bunch of dice, and it seems like fun, and I wanted to try it out. And they said, yeah, sure, we'll send it to you. So they sent it to me. And let's talk. So after playing this, I came to a realization about what I feel and how strongly I feel about the element of real-time gameplay, the use of that within games. And after some reflection, after some playing this game, I have come to a conclusion about the use of the mechanism around real-time gameplay management and using that in general in board games. So let's talk for a minute. Now that we have Cuphead looming overhead, let's talk about it for a second. I mean, you're Cupheads and you're rolling dice. It's not a very complex system, right? Dice, they have 6 sides on them. You can roll 6 different things. You just have to match them. It's easy, right? It's very easy, actually. Very, very easy. And this game is very frustrating. Very frustrating from a dice rolling standpoint, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to have this little centerboard, and you're going to be placing this out in front of everybody, this mutual board, because this is a cooperative game. And you're just going to be drawing cards and putting bad guy boss cards on here, right? No big deal. And you draw 3 every round, essentially. And then you just have to roll to match whatever symbols are on those cards on your board, on your dice. And you have to roll them in order. So you just got to, until you do the first card, you essentially aren't supposed to or can't go on to the second card, depending on what you want to do. And if you skip it or you can't get it, you take damage. And if you take 3 damage, you get knocked out. So, and it's just rinse and repeat. I mean, it's sort of NES style, if you will, where low health, increased difficulty, and that's sort of part of the challenge, right? And that's very frustrating. If you're old enough or can remember or have played many of the old school NES games, Contra, Ghosts and Goblins, those games are difficult. Because, I mean, it's basically like one-hit kill. So when you have that, and again, in a slightly different way, in a board game, I mean, again, not undoable, not impossible by any means, but then you base it around dice and dice rolling, you can see the dilemma and the problem with that in the first place, right? You can see why this has all the makings of a game that is just not going to work and frustrate you more than make it enjoyable without being able to get what you want. It has that whole setup for failure. And you know what? It doesn't. It doesn't fail. I know, right? You thought I was going to say that it was going to fail here. No. No, in fact, we just played this the other weekend, and we were laughing because of just how ridiculously entertaining and fun it was. And you're probably going, well, Chris, this is a game where you have a combination of Yahtzee, memory, and a slight bit of dexterity, all crammed into a very short time frame. Very short time limit. How on earth is that fun? It just is. It just is. There is some contagious level of excitement that goes on with trying to get these 6 dice and trying to be able to use anywhere from 4 to all 6 within a 20-second or less period to match what's in front of you. But you don't have enough time to actually look at, you know, what you're rolling and what the cards are on that little board that I showed you. Because, you know, the character boards also are this. And so you're just putting them in these slots down here. And as you go on, they make it more difficult. All of a sudden, instead of showing you the symbol that's on the die, they code it. They give you a different symbol, which you have to remember that that symbol means the one on the die. Or all of a sudden, you have to remember that if you ever play 2 dice in an area, those dice, instead of just being played in that area, they have to be stacked on top of each other. You know, spoilers, just a little bit, tiny bit. And if you don't do that, then you miss, even if they're the 2 right dice and they're like this instead. And if they fall over, it doesn't count either. But the frenetic pace of it, the always being engaged and having to concentrate will definitely burn people and frustrate people. The whole, well, you can score on the back side of this to see what your grade is, depending on, you know, the scale of how many players you're playing with. I have no interest in that. But what I do have interest in is games that are fun and engaging and that hit the table easily. And this game checks all of those boxes. Speaking of boxes, right? Speaking of many boxes, this game comes with 8 different, I'm going to turn these upside down to you, 8 different box decks. My arm is not comfortable in this position. That all are different in how you interact with them, what little tricks you have to do to deal with them, and how you do damage to the bosses in the first place. Because the bosses themselves will have conditions like, oh, this boss is in an airplane. This boss is flying. You can't use that weapon that you bought last round from the store based on the money that was given to you for beating the previous boss. Whoops. Maybe I shouldn't have spent the money on that round. I should have bought an item instead. Live and learn. And it's a little bit of campaigny. So, I mean, like I said, once you play through this, you know the trick a little bit. Knowing the trick, though, and being able to do the trick, you know, whether it's, you know, something like this or whatever it may be, are 2 completely different things. And that's where the enjoyment comes from. It's a little bit of gaming the game, but it's a little bit of just, you know, controlled chaoticness with seeing how many times you can roll 6 dice in 20 seconds or less. And believe me, once you start to realize how fast you can roll dice, I can roll dice probably 12 or 13 times in 20 seconds, believe me. And you don't realize that that's what you need to do when you first start playing. And so it's fun a little bit learning that side of things. Now, you know, like I said, the scoring, the keeping track of the score is, you know what, it's fine. It's, you know, it's another element that they use to unlock 2 of these secret envelopes, which give you super arts, which are like special abilities that you can take one of into each round or battle. So again, you know, with the scoring ones, we've just decided that we're probably just going to open them because we don't keep score. We just play for fun, and we don't tally up the numbers based on how many lives we have left and how many parries we have left and how many wallops are left and, you know, how fast we were doing it. I mean, that's fine, but, you know, that's not my main goal either. But you can easily do that and not have any problem whatsoever. And the only problem that I can see it is it does have a little bit of a campaign element to it. So you're going to want to start from where you finished. So like last game, we played through 3 of the bosses, the first 3 bosses. And so if you want to start off at 4, you really kind of should remember a little bit of what you had, because you're going to have built up some items and some weapons and, you know, just things, again, that are slightly changing how much and how easily it is for you to mitigate the stuff that is being thrown at you, or how easy it is for you to deal damage, because the bosses scale per player. So we're playing 4 players and the bosses have like 20 health, which means, you know, more little finger gun dice things that we have to, you know, put down on the board, but you have to put them down on the board most of the time when you're only playing or matching a card that has 1 die instead of 2 because you only put 2 dice maximum in each one of those little squares I showed you. So you have to not only roll it at the right time, but you have to choose when you're going to try and press your luck and roll it versus just trying to match, because if you don't match, then you're going to take damage in the first place, and then you're going to get knocked out, and other people are going to be mad at you because they're going to have to try and save you, and maybe they can't save you. If they can't save you, you lose. Because if anyone can't be revived, you have to start all over. And that's where the original difficulty of the NES side of things comes in. So, all in all, now I'm not sure it's necessarily going to have the longest standing lifespan in your collection, just because, like I said, once you play through all of these 8 different decks, you're going to know a little bit what's there. And, you know, you could pick and choose even. If you said, you know what, we're going to see if we can make it through these 3 boxes and we'll just pick randomly, you know. New friend comes over and you say, pick a box or pick 3 boxes numbered 1 through 8. You know, I'm going to take 2, 5, and 8 and see what happens. You know, and maybe house rule it a little bit to give them a little bit of, you know, pick out some items, pick out a weapon or 2, and there you go. And so I could see you easily having fun, but just having played through even part of it, it makes you want to start off also where you ended, because now you have that experience. And going back to the very beginning of the video, I said, how do I feel about the mechanism of real-time use in games? And this is the game that, after we played this the last time, sat down after the last game of this, and I sat down and I said, I got to do a review of this, so what do I think? I think, why do I like this? It's pressure. It's not AP, but it's thinking, and it's just different. And I realized that I love that. I love the pressure and the chaoticness with a little bit of mitigation, with just a lot of laughing and fun at the game table. Because, again, that's ultimately what it's about. And I have found that one of my niches is apparently real-time games like this. Millennium Blades, Bullet, Project Elite, this, Sorcerer City. I love all of those games. I love them. And there's a common thread there. 1, well, Level 99 Games put out a couple of those. But also, 2, that real-timey element. And this is included. Like, it's just fun. Right? Okay, roll dice. Put them down on the table. Put them in the right order. Make sure you can get enough. If you can't, haha, too bad. Press your luck. Memory. Dexterity. Luck. Just luck. And that's going to irritate and frustrate people, like I said. But if you're okay with that, but if you're okay with a combination of Yahtzee, memory, dexterity, and asymmetric abilities and powers to play with, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Is it for everybody? Heck no! Not at all. Is it worth it? If you like those things? Yeah. There's nothing else out there like it. Nothing. So, I'm very pleased by this one. I am surprisingly pleased by this one. Like I said, though, I mean, the dice rolling, the keeping score things, the, you know, if you're not playing with the same people, necessarily starting over at the beginning each time, that your mileage may vary on that side of things. But if you got 2 or 3 people, or even 4, it plays great because, again, it's simultaneous play. So the game length is going to be the same at any of those player counts. It's probably, I mean, it says 1 player, but it's probably best at 3 or 4. I would argue 3 or 4. 4 probably was the most fun. But I've played it at 2, 3, and 4. So take that for what you will. Is it the deepest game? Is it going to be the most nuanced, depth-bringing game in your collection? Heck no. Is it trying to be? Nope. Is it solid, and do I enjoy it, and will I play it again if somebody wants to pull it out and do it? Heck yeah. I might suggest maybe if I've played through the beginning games a couple times, you know, maybe start at a higher level difficulty boss and see what happens. But, yeah. There you go. Cuphead. Surprisingly good. OP games. That's a winner on this one. There you go. Check it out if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Stay classy. Have a great day. See you around.